Right. Dave, nice to see you again. Good morning.
And you, dude? Yeah, kia ora.
How's it going?
I'm good. As you can tell if you're watching on the YouTubes, I'm wearing a fancy shirt, Daniel.
It is incredibly fancy, yet punk. So that's a good
Yeah,
combination.
somehow. I don't know how I've managed to achieve it, but I think it's a look I'm happy with, something I'm trying out.
I'm changing your job title to style icon in the intro.
Style icon and influencer, bad influencer. Ah,
In fact, let's just do the intro. Hey, welcome to Waiting for Review, a show about the majestic indie developer lifestyle. Join your scintillating hosts to hear about a tiny slice of their thrilling lives. I'm Daniel, solid glass connoisseur, and I'm here with Dave, who is a style icon and an influencer. Join us while waiting for a review.
hey, always feels better after the intro. I don't know why. Gotta
I
gotta
wanted
have
to
it.
go with something like glass for both of us. So you would have
Yeah.
spent life in prison.
Oof. Oof. Yes, but I only got a light
We can put
sentence.
that.
I only got a light sentence, Daniel. It's fine.
We can put that somewhere else. All right. This is a special episode insofar as we're recording directly after WWDC,
Mm-hmm.
or at least at the end of WWDC week. And
Yes.
so, even though we are not as Apple adjacent as we used to be, we kind of want to go into what Apple released and just like go through
Yeah.
everything they have put out there and just like react and talk to it, like have our opinions and
Yep.
what like caught our eye and stuff like that. And so I thought we could take a few minutes to talk about like how the keynote was presented because I have some
Mm,
opinions on that. Then I have a list that is made by Mac Rumors. Basically, it's just a list of Mac Rumors articles, like individual articles that they put
yep.
put up each looking at one aspect of what Apple announced. Like I can just read you the titles and then we can both react to that. How does
It's
that
going to
sound?
be an interesting one. Yeah, because some of them I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I saw that. And then other bits I'll be blissfully unaware because, like,
Yeah.
my approach this week has been different to any other year with WWDC. I don't know, we've talked about this before, but watching the keynote for me is getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning in New Zealand. And last year I decided it was going to be the last time that I did that because I was tired for the rest of the day and it just didn't feel worth it. Um,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
because I'm not excited about the tech, but just like for the sake of not checking my social media feeds when I get up and just watching something when I'm actually awake. Like, let's do it a bit differently.
Yeah, especially since it's a video recording that they release anyway.
Exactly.
Why
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to watch it live?
Yeah.
And
So I,
especially
I,
that
I
if they,
watched. I watched it in 5 minutes, right? I watched one of the. By the time I got up, CNET had done their WWDC in 5 minutes thing, and I was like, "Yeah, that's it. I'll watch that with my morning drink and just see what's what." So
yeah,
I
that's
may have missed some of the nuances in the keynote by doing that.
yeah, but I think that's fine. Like from watching it, I can tell you that the keynote was very much like the standard mold for Apple keynotes. There was like some
Yeah.
visual jokes, some of which I liked, some of which I loved, some of which I kind of thought incredibly cringy.
Hmm.
And then it's just like people standing in front of virtual, I assume, big screens
Okay.
talking about
Yeah.
like things, and they always have this hand movement that they do with everything
Yes. Yeah.
exaggerated, like it's a whole thing, like if I could imitate it better I would totally try to do a podcast in that
Somebody's probably
style.
broken it down, and there's probably a TikTok out there or somewhere like how to present like Apple. Um,
Yeah,
but
and
anyway, what did you
no shade
think?
on the people who are presenting. Like, I mean, I
No.
think like most of these people are nerds like us, and this is just the public speaking guidelines that Apple gives them, and they're pretty good. It's just like very noticeable that they're very uniform.
Yeah.
Yes, one thing I wanted to add to put in front of this is sometimes I feel kind of cynical about what Apple is putting out these days, and
Hmm.
I'm trying to leave my cynicism at the door for this episode. But if you feel
Yeah.
cynicism, Dave, or you, dear
Yeah.
listener, please give us the cynicism. Just like write us an
Yeah.
email, write us a message on social media. I
Well, I
love to
think
hear the cynicism.
I think I can do the same for this show, to be honest. Like we've talked all about our cynicism with Apple on previous shows. I think it's sort of talked to death. But like my only cynicism really for This show is unfortunately what we're starting with, which is how the keynote is presented. Like I say, no shade on the actual presenters because I think it's actually quite valuable that they get this guidance. Um, but in terms of the overall format, delivery through something very pre-recorded and sort of polished to within an inch of its eyeballs, the cringeworthy jokes that they sort of go for in the middle of it. This is now a format we've had for a few years, and I think it's a bit stale. That's my cynicism there.
Yeah. The thing is also that Apple is now so incredibly big. Like Apple, the
Hmm.
company, is like as an entity, is rivaling countries in
I
like
know.
size and
Yeah.
GDP and influence.
Yeah.
So like the jokey, cringy style that really worked like 10, 20 years ago,
Hmm.
kind of feels disconnected.
Yeah. Yeah. So I won't go too deep on this, but I think they should change it next year, to be honest with you. I was hoping they would this year, and there'd be something that is just a little different. But the other reason for how I feel about this is because I watched the JetBrains Kotlin Conf keynote the other month, and it was like a breath of fresh air because it was people talking relatively unpolished on stage. Um, so it was very live. There were mistakes made along the way and recovered from, so it felt more human. And the other aspect that they had is that JetBrains is obviously a different type of company and in a different space, but they were able to bring in how they were working with the dev community very directly. And that featured in the keynote in terms of open source and
Yeah.
how they were working, yeah. And that felt good for me.
I totally get that. Like, because that's one of the contrasts, right? Definitely the WWDC keynote was very like, here's the new user facing features that we're giving to our users.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was kind of like reducing developers to, oh, yeah, these people are also allowed on our platform,
Hmm.
which, well, reducing to, I want to say content. Content
Yeah.
was a word that was really like, because of like Liquid Glass, the UI, like it always gets out of the way so you can see your content. And like
Yeah.
everything is content these days, and apps are just content these days. Which,
Content
I mean,
delivery
I guess
systems.
that's how it is. One
I'd
thing I
say that's
liked
true of
were
a lot of
the
apps. Yeah.
one thing I liked was like the allusions to the Formula One movie, which is
Hmm.
published by Apple, so it's like no surprise.
Yeah.
And that's coming to cinemas later this month. So yeah, of course, but like at some point, like a cop was giving the Formula One car a parking ticket in the background,
Yeah.
and I don't know, that was hilarious to me. Like as a side note, that movie is going to be so cringy to watch, but I'm gonna watch it anyway. I think.
Yeah. And again, cringy's not always bad, right? So sometimes it's worth just a little bit of a silly smile. But okay. Liquid glass.
Anyway,
How do you
Liquid
feel
Glass.
about liquid glass?
I don't know yet. Okay, so
Yeah.
first impression, when I first saw like the first few glimpses of it, and also in the WWDC session about it, like I thought this is awesome. This is really cool because it is so damn impressive. It's not just like blur. It's not just a few like fake reflections. Like if you see the glass like going over other user interface elements, like it gets reflected and refracted. It has a prism effect. It has like
Hmm.
chromatic aberration. Is like damn impressive.
Yeah.
Second thought was, how much of my battery is this gonna cost?
Probably enough to make you buy a new phone. But no, I mean, from what I've seen of it, my initial reaction was, oh, cool. This doesn't look like it's going to be awful to adopt in apps. It looks like it's going to be something that you can lean into probably quite hard if you want to, or you can just have a little bit.
Mhm.
And I've watched the developers' State of the Union, so it doesn't look like it's too difficult to adopt if you're already using Swift UI, which you should be by now, really, in any modern app. So it's not an iOS 7 where everybody's got to go mad for 3 months and try and figure out how they're going to adopt flat design. It's more additive to that. You can go into using these modifiers. Some default components obviously will start to adopt these things. There's probably the biggest one for devs to watch out for is like, I don't know if this is how it works actually, but I assume that when you compile against the new SDK, you'll get some of these things out of the box, and it'll be worth double checking how that looks and feels with your app if that is the case. Uh, so yeah, there's definitely something there to sort of be aware of. Is like, this is a UI change, and you should see how your app actually operates, if not on the immediate betas, certainly before the OS is released. So I've earmarked that for my app, as I need to double check how this has affected anything. But I don't think it's a bad thing overall. I like the look of the UI. I'm pleased it's not a iOS 7 mad scramble
Hmm.
event. It looks like it should be more incremental than that. And I'm looking forward to using it as a user and sort of seeing, well, what does this make my phone feel like?
Yeah. Are you running any betas?
Not yet. No, I will wait until probably late August, early September, and then start sacrificing a device to see. Yeah. And unfortunately, my
That is a
iPhone,
huge advantage of not being in California. Like, among other
yeah,
things, because when I was still in San Francisco for WWDC or San Jose, I would be so excited for the new stuff that I would put the first beta on my phone,
yep,
and I didn't really regret it. Like, apart from the thing running hot and the battery life being shot, like it was mostly like okay. Because
worth
I
it.
was
Yeah,
expecting beta software and I got beta software and I got like a full
yeah,
summer of I have the new thing, whereas no one else has.
yeah.
But I'm kind of happy that I didn't get this enthused today or
It's
this time.
yeah, and I mean, if you want to do it, do it. But I would say, bear in mind that it's beta software, right? So in the past, when I was really keen, I would put it on my iPad, but not my iPhone, for example. And that because having an operational phone is much more important to me than my iPad, so I'd do that. Um, these days, I'm fortunate enough to have a bunch of test devices, and I do have a iPhone 11 that I can put it on, which I think is now the lowest iPhone model that's supported on the
Yeah,
new
that's true.
OS.
How
So
far
that'll be
back does the
interesting.
iPad support go? Do you know
Unsure. I'm
that?
probably going to lose
Okay.
one or two. Honestly, I'm not trying to brag, but like I do have a few test devices here. We've got We've got two teenage lads in our household, and we sort of have this circle of life of like our upgrades go to them, and then when they get another upgrade, those become my test devices. So
Right.
yeah, the game
Okay.
is
I just
to
had a
upgrade
look.
off often enough that you don't lose support off the bomb.
I haven't. I have the first generation iPad Pro, the 12-inch one,
Right.
and that is
Yeah.
not in the list of supported devices because I was gonna. I would have like sacrificed that because I'm not really using it.
Hmm.
It's the recipe pad. But yeah, that's fine. I think
Yeah.
I'll wait a bit more. I was also interested in like trying out the new macOS because I'm more of a macOS user than an iPad user, definitely. But like I did that in previous years where I would like have a separate partition and then just like install the beta on the partition and then boot it. But then you have like an
Yep.
empty Mac, like you have nothing to do in there, so it's like kind of
Yeah.
pointless.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff you could do. Like I've not seen things where people have put their home directories and other bits in a shared space and then flick between the two. But like, it's a lot of overhead just to test a beta if you don't have I would say a business reason, if you like,
Right.
to do that testing. Yeah, but anyway, liquid glass, I think. I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks interesting. I also like that we are now quite away from the sort of uber flat design years. Like it sort of feels like, a little bit more whimsy coming into the
I
UI and the
like
interface.
the Uber flat design though, but like yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. I kind of like it. I think like right now the contrast is way too low, but I think that's
Hmm.
just the thing that gets ironed out over the next few betas.
Yeah. Yeah. For reference though, Daniel, I am not updating my app to go hard out on the new UI side of
Well,
things. When I go and
you need to
test,
use all the shader cores for your effects. They should
yeah,
like run
actually,
Go VJ
yeah.
effects, not like glass effects.
Yeah, and my UI is currently quite an uber flat UI, really, for the dashboard, because you've got to trigger videos and it just needs to kind of get out of the way.
Make space for
So,
your content.
Yes, my users' content, not my content. But I've got some ideas for some new UI stuff anyway, and I actually kind of want to bring the app to more of a slightly skeuomorphic look, because a lot of DJ apps do that, right? You have sliders that look like the physical sliders of a mixer, for example. So I'm actually going the other way in time. I've got a UI rebuild that I'm going to do later this year, going into next year, and that's going to be something else entirely. So I'm looking at all of this and going, it will be nice to use day to day, but I'm not adopting it beyond probably having a play and knowing what it looks like so that I've got those skills as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's next?
Apple
What's next?
announces live translation for messages, FaceTime, and phone apps. I
Sweet.
think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I probably don't want to dwell too long on it. Like, I can't right now imagine having a phone call with it because
Hmm.
before you have the phone call, you kind of have to negotiate. I'm going to talk to you in my own language, and then like the translation will kick in a second later. And at that negotiation process, you don't have translation for that. But like, especially for messages, I
Yeah.
can totally see it.
Yeah. And obviously you could send a message first and say, right, I guess. But no, I wonder if does it work as subtitles in your own language? I assume it would.
I guess so. Yeah. Doesn't say.
Yeah.
All right.
Because
Apple
that would be
Music gaining
our use
ability.
case.
Sorry. Apple Music gaining ability to pin your favorite playlists, albums, and artists in iOS 26. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Visual intelligence now searches on-screen content. I feel like
Ooh,
all the
no
all the
thanks.
AI all the AI features were kind of like, I mean, they kind of have to push it forward a little bit, but the big
Yeah.
push that was announced last year kind of never really came
Yeah.
and is not really there. So they're kind of just like having what Apple should do, which is, oh yeah, we're using like dashes of AI to improve things where they make sense.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And as like this is a feature that Google has, I think, and it also kind of integrates ChatGPT instead of like Siri, which is
Hmm.
probably a smart move. I was half expecting them to just ditch Siri entirely, just like have ChatGPT in there instead. But yeah,
I will see.
basically
They might.
it is not happening automatically. So like no AI is just watching your entire screen. You take a screenshot, and then on the screenshot you can also say like, hey, what is this, talk to me about this, or search things that are similar to this or
Yeah.
whatever. So like in the demo they were like taking screenshots, and then like they were kind of circling a orange lamp, and then they could send that to a shopping app to search for similar
Okay.
lamps.
So
So I think that's
when you
pretty
introduced it,
good, like in
Daniel,
reaction to a user feedback or user request.
yeah, and I think when you introduced it, my initial reaction was no thanks. But what you've just said about it, and bear in mind this is part of me not watching the entire keynote, right? So, but what you've described, I would get utility out. Whereas what I was imagining on first description was more like Microsoft's Recall,
Mm-hmm.
which I've had to help my kids disable on their Windows gaming PCs because they don't want any of that, and that thing's gone back and forth. So I think it's sensible of Apple to play it that way. It's much more within their normal values, and obviously they will have seen some of the backlash against Microsoft and gone, no, we don't want to do whole screen stuff and constant monitoring. So no, that's cool, and yeah, it's something I would get utility out of.
Yeah, I can see that as
Sweet.
well. Next one, Apple announces new features. No, hang on. ChatGPT integration coming to Apple's Image Playground. Image Playground and like procedural image generation is an abomination that no one needs,
Hmm.
no one wants, and they
Yep.
look ugly AF. Next up,
Yeah.
new features in Messages app, which are, I have to click on that, backgrounds, polls, live translation,
Hmm.
and that's it. Okay. Polls are kind of cool, like just to
Live
keep track
translation's
with
kind of cool.
backgrounds.
Backgrounds, I don't care.
I don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah.
New Games app brings Game Center, Library, and Arcade together, which is kind of nice. Like I think that's gonna
Sounds.
be the focus of a new push towards gaming, because they also seem to have brought in more like game creators and ported more games to macOS and iOS. So let's see where this goes. Like on the one hand, I think it's cool. On the other hand,
Yep.
if they're treating game developers the same as app developers, the
Hmm.
game developers are not going to be very eager to be on the platform, because I think that's one of the
Yeah.
problems that's always kind of held macOS back.
You kind of isolate something there as well for me, which is that when they've did the push, I think it was last year or the year before, about some of the conversion technology that they've got to help support porting.
Mm.
There's a
Whiskey, I
lot of
think.
cynicism. Yeah, there was a lot of cynicism at the time of like, oh yeah, but Apple's still rubbish with games developers, and I would like to see them just keep doing these things that are supportive, keep working with that side of things, and then it's less of a big promise, and it's more like in a few years, it's just going to be, yeah, of course you can do this on your Mac. And that seems like a more sensible play. So I hope so, because I've always wanted gaming to be a better thing on the Mac.
Oh yeah, I recently looked at a game and it was on Steam and it was actually available on macOS.
Hey,
I
yeah,
wish
it's always
listed
a
it and I
pleasure.
think I'm gonna buy it soon. Right.
Uh,
Apple Reminders and Notes feature. They're kind of smart features that suggest relevant tasks and items automatically, such as to-dos pulled from emails or notes or grocery items based on what your habits and patterns are. I think that's kind of cool. I think that's that's one of these like smart features that you don't really notice until they kind of pop up, and you're like, "Oh, that's helpful." Like right now,
yeah,
for example, if you get an email from a hotel confirming your stay, like there's kind of like a grayed out entry in your calendar automatically, and you can like click to, "Oh yeah, I want that in my calendar actually." So that's kind of how I
yeah,
imagine that, and that's kind of cool.
yeah. I probably won't end up interacting with it too hard because I'm not using mail. I'm not using iMessage at the moment, really. But yeah, I see how that will be useful.
Yep. The icons in iOS 26 can now have an all clear look alongside light mode and dark mode. I kind of dislike that
Mm,
because the look is it looks very striking in screenshots, but can't imagine myself really using it, and
yeah,
I like I don't think it is very pleasant to use. What I would have liked more is an option here to have, because like you have these new icons that have various layers, so such like in Vision OS, just have
yeah,
like the option to have a clear layer. There's a kind of like a glass layer as the icon base, and then add some color on top. I mean, color is kind of important to distinguish icons. And if the icons are all monochrome, but then also have all the glass like reflections on top, it's going to be a bit visually messy, I think.
yeah. I think we're gonna have to see how that one stakes out, really. I'm not rushing to change my app icons in that direction. But yeah, maybe for certain types of icons, there's going to be something with that
I
that'll
mean, did you
be
update
good.
for what's the previous one? 25.
No, I did not. Yeah, so again, I want my icon to look like my icon, and I don't really care too much about supporting those things. And I've had no users ask me for anything else, but my icon's black and white. So yeah,
Because in last year's release, which was iOS 18, I think, right? I'm getting confused by the new numbering already.
we can call it iOS 25. I don't mind. I know what you mean.
Speaking of which, like before WWDC, internal beta builds at Apple would report as iOS 19. Now with the public betas, or the public developer betas, I want to say, they do report, for example, in Telemetry Deck as iOS 26. So that's kind of fun.
That's actually really cool. Yeah, so they kept that one leak
Yep,
proof. That's good.
pretty much. So yeah, they like iOS 18 will actually like kind of like make your icon like light mode or dark mode automatically. And so I assume they're also going to give your icons the transparent treatment automatically. But all right,
Yeah.
new adaptive power option to extend battery life. I haven't seen that in the keynote, so I'm going to click it. There's is a setting in the settings, and it's designed to make small performance adjustments that will improve battery life. Include lowering display brightness, allowing some activities to take a little longer.
Okay.
And the feature is also designed to turn on low power mode automatically. So I don't really get what the difference between this and low power mode is.
Yeah.
Um, it feels like it's like kind of the precursor to Oh, okay. The screenshot has more explanation actually. When your battery usage is higher than usual, iPhone can make small performance adjustments to extend your battery life. So you turn this on and nothing changes. But if you turn this on and suddenly your phone is at 20%, even though it's morning, then it will kind of go automatically into saving mode. That's kind of what I imagine. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a bad thing.
They might have brand this as AI. I haven't seen it, but same as the next one. I saw people are kind of like making fun of this on Reddit. iOS 26 lets you know how long it will take your battery to charge, which is weird because I kind of imagined that it would already do that, but it actually doesn't. So the screenshot
Yeah,
is just like charging. What 41 minutes remaining. Like people on Reddit were making fun of it because we're like, oh, they're using AI to do this, but like no one here, like nowhere here does it
yeah.
actually say AI. It's just like, oh, yeah, this is we're gonna
It doesn't need AI
do
to do
this.
that. I mean, maybe they've used something like that, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I actually like the idea of the feature, because if I've had situations recently actually where I had a lazy Saturday. I spent all morning not doom scrolling. I was actually scrolling things I enjoy. Uh, but yeah, I chewed my battery life up on Instagram and other things, and then we decided to go out in the afternoon. And I was like, oh shit, my battery's lower than I would like it right now. Um, So we had a few minutes before going out. I put it on my best charger with like a fast charging thing. It would have been lovely to have some idea of how long it would take to get to either a full charge or even just sort of you can kind of gauge like, you know, how long is it going to
Yeah,
take it to get to something I'm more comfortable with. Um, so yeah, not a bad thing.
yeah,
Potentially
especially with
useful.
like the big USB-C chargers, like an iPhone, like you got like getting it to full takes a while because like the last few percent
Yeah.
are kind of trickling in, but like getting it to 60% is like super fast.
Yeah,
That's kind of
and that's
cool.
the other thing, right? You'll get a feel for which charger is actually your best charger if you've got more than one, or whether a new one's actually better or not.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
have
not a
like
bad thing.
two of the big iPad chargers from Apple, the one that kind of look like very pill shaped. And those are the best in my opinion. All right. New emoji game for Apple News Plus subscribers.
Keep going. Yep.
Boarding passes, background sounds. All right.
Background sounds I kind of like. Is that part of the accessibility feature, or is it just for the OS?
I feel like it's where they try to. Oh yeah, that's where they try to Sherlock dark noise,
Yeah. Yeah, I
which
like that feature. I
I
also like
like
that noise.
that feature, but dark noise like is just the best. So shout out to the author who
Yep. Charlie,
I
who
talked to
has been on the show in
the
the
other day.
past. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
shout out to
And I've
Charlie.
been on Charlie's show as well. Like he's just a
Yeah.
delightful human being. All the tiny changes. I don't think I want to go through these. You can export notes as a markdown file. Tweaks navigation, battery settings. Cool, cool, cool. All right, iPad OS is compatible not with the original iPad Pro. It has a new windowing and menu bar system, which basically now it's macOS. Like you can have up to 4
Yep.
active windows, and the other windows are kind of like passive windows that are like frozen apps on the iPhone.
Yep.
I'm kind of not surprised. On the one hand, I'm surprised it took them that long. On the other hand, I kind of applaud them for trying out so many different models, but it turns out there's right now we don't have a better model for multitasking. And I'm kind of happy
Yeah.
that they arrived at this.
Me too. And I didn't necessarily need or want Mac OS on the iPad, but it feels like this for windowing there is a good move. So for me, what's going to be interesting with what I do with my video app is what can I run in that mode side by side with it that's actually going to be interesting and useful. So
Mm-hmm.
I will be playing with that probably in another couple of months and just sort of seeing like, yeah, what are my users going to get out of this if they've got my app there and something else doing something else. So could make some of the intra-app stuff that I could do. For example, receiving different audio inputs into the app to drive audio reactivity could make that a bit more actually useful. And you can
Mm-hmm.
do some of that already today with sort of split screen stuff and all of that. But I think this will actually mean that people start trying to do that sort of stuff more. So, yeah, I'll be giving it a good look, I think.
I don't know why this is here, but iPad OS 26 and macOS Tahoe include a
Hmm.
phone app. Oh, that's why this here, but it also continues with call screening, hold assist, and more. Like this, we didn't like there wasn't in the iOS list, but these are like pretty cool features actually that get added to the phone app. Call screening, which kind of like if
Hmm.
there's an unknown number with a high probability of scamming, like the person will actually have to like give you basically what amounts to a voicemail asking to be picked up, which is kind of cool. Like also very annoying, of course, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good balance because right now my phone is mostly in a focus mode where like most people's calls don't get through. If those people
Yeah.
now get a chance to be let through, that's actually better. And
Yeah.
the other thing is like hold assist, which is like going to be such a cool feature. Have you seen this?
No, go for it. What is it?
It will detect hold music and offer to just like listen to the hold music for you and then ring basically when the hold music stops.
I love that. I thought you were going to say
So
it would
that
replace it with your own music.
no, well, that's really cool. Like in the demo, what they were calling some call center, and then it just like, had some hold music. So the person would just like activate the thing and then either put their phone away or use it as they normally would, and then it
Yeah.
would ring when the other side kind of picked up. What I'm wondering is like most of the time when I'm in a holding pattern, maybe this is a German thing, but like when I'm in a like holding on the phone, there will be like 2 minutes of music, and then suddenly the
Yeah.
music will stop, and a human recorded voice will say, "Your call is very important to us, so please don't hang up," or whatever. And I wonder
So
if
will
that
it just
triggers
keep
it.
ringing? Yeah.
And if that does trigger it, then it's kind of worthless. And at the same time, I'm also wondering if the call center person, who's, I assume, a very busy person who's like paid by the call, if
Hmm.
they get the impression that they will now need to wait for me, will they just like kick me out? So I think
Mm,
that's,
yeah, and I could also imagine a bit of cat and mouse going on where if you figure out the right thing to do to start the call, for example, would they want to um, automate that end of the process on the call center side? So you can sort of see
yeah.
like a bit of an arms race going on maybe, but I think it's going to be interesting to try. There's a whole bunch of calls where I would have loved that. Emigrating to New Zealand, I have spent many, many hours on the phone to New Zealand
Yeah, but if it's an
immigration.
important call, you don't want to risk
You'd
it on
have
the
to
other hand.
trust it, yeah. But when you're talking about maybe being 2 hours on hold before speaking to a human,
2 hours.
yeah,
I've never
yeah,
seen that. Like most of the call
yeah,
centers that I'm calling to, they just like throw you out after 20 minutes. They're like, "Yep,
no,
we're too busy. Call back later."
yeah. I've literally spent that time waiting to speak to somebody on the other end here, and I would put the phone on speakerphone and then sit on my computer and play an Xcode until something changed. But having to listen to the same 4 or 5 songs over and over again in that time, it's like some sort of
Yeah,
torture.
that
Yeah.
is absolute torture. So
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
let's see.
songs I
I'm a
can't
bit
hear now without getting
skeptical.
triggered.
I'm a bit skeptical if it really works, but if it does, it's kind of cool. iPad OS revamped Files app, which looks like the Finder, which I kind of appreciate.
Yep, great. Keep going.
CarPlay widgets, live activities, like that's kind of cool. Like you get widgets and live activities in CarPlay, which is actually kind of nice because sometimes I'm driving my car and I'm thinking, what's my next calendar thing? And I will just like
Yeah,
glance over, see my next calendar thing. Just
that's
makes
cool.
me wanna revive the telemetry tech iOS app just to kind of have like telemetry tech widgets on the thing. But like I at some point it shall return, but today is not that day. macOS Tahoe,
Mm-hmm. Tahoe?
or is it Tahoe?
I think
Oh,
so.
like, is that a bad word? Tahoe?
Tahoe?
macOS 26. I don't know. I'm kind of done with the Californian place names. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, no shade to the places, but like, I don't know them, they don't resonate, so actually just calling it by the
Exactly
year
that. Like
helps. Yeah.
it's just yeah, like I'm very like I'm sure for Americans or Californians at least, like you have like some cool, like awesome, like association with the place, but it's just a weird number of syllables.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be
Anyway,
like doing it for the UK and then having, Mac OS Leicester, right?
yeah, and everyone would be calling it macOS Leicester,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mac OS bottle of water.
macOS Worcestershire.
Yeah. Yes, Worcestershire.
Anyway, they have a new Spotlight, which is kind of cool because I'm a heavy Spotlight user.
Yeah,
Basically, like one thing that it does is like Spotlight replaces the app launcher. Like
yeah,
I don't know how I always launch that. You like use a gesture to launch that, like the grid of apps.
yes.
So like 90% of the time I launch apps through Spotlight by just like typing the Spotlight command and then like entering the app's name. But like if I don't, I always use that gesture to open the app launcher. Oh, it's kind of cool that both of them are merged. And the other
Yeah.
things are like they have a command line kind of thing. So I don't know exactly yet how it actually works, like especially from a developer perspective. But yeah, they give you kind of like these ad lib sentences. So you start typing a sentence like add something to my to-do list, and it will kind of expand and have like Xcode like placeholders where you can say like add buy beer to my to-do list, for example. And like buy beer and my to-do list are kind of like placeholders where you can like enter something or select a specific to-do list.
That's kind of cool. That feels like that's got to be part of the AI stuff that they've got, where they've integrated some of these things under the hood, right?
I don't think like sometimes you recognize AI stuff by how the guardrails are kind of implemented. This doesn't have any
Yeah.
guardrails. It feels like Apple is very sure that this content will always be right. So I assume it's kind of
Okay.
handcrafted.
I was
Users
wondering
can
if it
now
was an Apple
take
Intelligence
direct
thing.
actions such as creating an event, recording audio, or playing a podcast from within Spotlight. It also enables functionality like sending an email or controlling apps directly through Spotlight, offering a unified command layer that spans across the operating systems. So that looks like intense, basically.
Yeah.
I'll say
Yeah.
this is intense. And then, of
Yeah.
course, because they're intense, if good Siri ever comes, it can also use those. But while we're still waiting for that, this is a good use for them.
One thing I was wondering is, you might know this better than me because you looked into it more, but is it going to integrate um, the thing where you can talk to Siri into Spotlight? You know how you can have like a conversation with Siri and through text?
I do not know. And glancing over this article, doesn't mention it either. So maybe not, which is kind of a weird oversight because
Yeah.
like totally should like just like talk to Siri as well.
Well, there's a big opening there if Apple want to in the future, where
Hmm.
Spotlight becomes your chat-like interface if you need it to be to
Totally,
whatever
totally.
thing you're talking to, right? Which hopefully would be hopefully for Apple would end up being a super powerful Siri, which we're not getting
Yeah.
this year, but never mind.
No, I could do that because I could just like make an app that you type in your question and it will answer. I can search the internet for you if you ask me the same thing on your phone, which is what my HomePod always answers, which is
Yeah,
basically
yeah, well,
an in joke at this point.
it is. It is. It's so frustrating. It's hopefully the pieces will come together in time. What's next? What else have we got?
The Journal app is finally coming to Mac and iPad. Also, a compatibility
Yeah, yep.
list. Seems like all the Apple Silicons.
None of the Intels.
Well, some of the Intels.
Really? Which ones?
Hang on. Mac models. Okay, the compatible models are the Silicon MacBook Pro 2019, which is still Intel. I'm not sure about MacBook Pro 2020, but it seems also like an Intel. iMac
Okay,
2020, Mac Mini 2020, and also the Mac Pro from 2019. But
fair
out,
enough.
not included, are the 2020 MacBook Air, most of the MacBook Pros from 2020,
Hold up.
or
Which 2020 MacBook Air?
Retina 13-inch, it says.
What chip? Intel chip.
That's all the information that I have. MacBook Air Retina 13-inch 2020.
Right,
I
okay.
can put that exact string into a duck go, and it will just give me like text best. It has an SSD. Does it has i3? Not a
Okay.
not a not a not a
Not
silicon.
the
No, I would
M1.
be. No. I'm like what's not in this article, but what I've already read is all the silicons are good, but
Yep.
many of the Intels are being dropped, and For others, they already said this is the last one. Like, so next year
Yeah.
is the Intel-apocalypse.
I mean, yeah, they kind of need to. I would imagine that we're another year after that for the first generation silicon chips also being nuked. I would think that would be the following year or the year after that in
I'm
that
putting
case.
putting something in the show notes for Intel Max. Won't get updates after macOS Tahoe. Right. Other than that, nothing about macOS. Like the UI is also very glassy, and it's very round. It feels very round and bouncy castle-ish. I've only seen the screenshots, and in the screenshots, it feels a bit Windows Vista, and it
Okay.
feels a bit Fisher Price.
Well,
So I'm kind of like delaying judgment until I see it in person.
yeah.
I'm not sure. On the one hand, I kind of want the new shaders and everything. On the other hand, yeah. Let's just
I,
wait and see. Like I
I
can't
reckon
imagine
you're
it
only
right now.
I
But if
reckon you're
it,
only 2 or 3 shows away, Daniel, from trying it.
I have an external SSD here. So.
It begins.
All right. Watch OS 26. Also the design, which includes the home screen. Oh yeah. Do you see the home screen for iOS where the watch, like the clock time, kind of stretches vertically to fill the available
Yeah.
space? That kind of looks cool. All right. Compatibility. Apple unveils an AI powered workout buddy for Apple Watch, which I hate it so much.
I don't need that. I'm good.
Like, I mean, in theory, like imagine there's just a tiny workout buddy sitting in your ear and like whispering encouragement. Like that sounds awesome. The fact that this is an AI speaking in a very like if you I don't know if you heard the samples. They sampled the voice of one of the instructors from Apple Fitness for that.
Okay.
So it very much sounds like an Apple commercial. So
I mean,
this is
if
your
it gets
100th workout today or this year.
yeah.
Just keep pushing. You can reach your goal. I believe in you. Like, oh my God, no.
So
Like, I want
here's the
rage to
version.
fuel me. Like, I need like things to hate when I'm like sporting.
Well, doesn't that do that? Like, I mean,
Ooh, so that's the intention.
yeah. So I want a version of that where, like, I want to take running back up again. So if it gets quieter, the faster I run, or the more consistently I run, like, and then comes back if I flag or slow down. That might motivate me because I really don't need that sort of very polished, peppy talk in my ear when I
Yeah.
run. I need a drill sergeant. I need a cheeky British
Yeah.
Cockney dude probably having a go at me. You know,
So
just effing do it.
I need bike navigation. Like, I navigate using Komoot, which is a bike navigation app. And it has very detailed maps that, for example, know that this is a road and on the side of the road is a bike lane. And so it expects you to be on the bike lane. But then, of course, sometimes the bike lane ends and it just like merges into the road. Or the bike lane is not like part of the crossing, but directly after the crossing it continues. But also like there's like a slight angle. It's not one like it's like maybe like a 1 degree angle or in the road after the crossing or whatever. And so like this thing will chat your ear off. It's like get off the bike lane. In 50 meters, get on the bike lane. In 20 meters, slide right onto street. And I so would like to have an AI that would just like be like, okay, basically go straight ahead for the next 4 kilometers and I'll shut up now. That would be so nice.
Yeah, yeah. Or just something where you could say, less detail for now. I'm good. And it's sort of yeah. Uh, what's next? What's next on the
All
list? What
right.
have we got?
Notes
We're gonna
app
run out
on
soon,
Apple
or have we
Watch.
got lots more?
Yeah, we're kind of at the bottom end. Notes app on Apple Watch. Cool. New gesture to dismiss notification. That's kind of nice, actually. Like, you know how you turn your wrist towards you to see your watch, and then you see also the new notification. If you put it away for half a second and then return, it will show you your home screen or your watch face instead, which is kind of cool. Like because sometimes you want to look at your watch and it's like the information you actually want to look at is kind of blocked by a notification. So yeah, I like
Mhm.
it. It's cool. It's a
Yeah.
nice refinement. Vision OS is announced with spatial widgets, but I haven't really tried it. And also enhanced personas, which kind of look very cool. But I'm not a Vision OS expert. At some point, we could invite my coworker Jihad or something here if we want to
Yeah.
talk more about Vision OS. tvOS has a new liquid glass redesign, and also it turns your phone into a karaoke mic for Apple Music Sing. AirPods.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, AirPods, almost at the end. AirPods get one cool feature. Like they get multiple cool features. Like they get camera remote, so you can like trigger your camera. And they also get a thing that's called Pulse Audio for sleep, which is super cool because I listen to a lot of podcasts for falling asleep. So by the way, if you are falling asleep right now to this podcast, we love you. You're safe.
Pleasant dreams.
Right. But apparently, like they will detect when you're falling asleep and just like pause, which is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's decent.
And they automatically switch with CarPlay, but I don't really like. I mean, I when I enter the car, I would like take the headphones out of my ears. No.
Mm,
Anyway, the developer betas are out. Apple has announced Foundation Models Framework, which is basically like it doesn't say kit, which is kind of annoying, but it's basically an SDK for or a library for like working with LLMs, which is kind of cool. It's kind of built
yeah.
in a way that is like otherwise like all the people would just like reinvent their own wheels, and you would get like 17 copies of Llama or something on your device.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. That is the end of this list. But I have one thing actually that hasn't been mentioned on this list, which is Apple Music crossfade. So Apple
Okay.
Music will crossfade between songs if you enable that feature. And it will not only like
Yeah.
just like crossfade in a dumb way, it will actually beat match and speed match. And I've
Okay,
seen a
that's fun.
few examples of people in the wild trying this on their phones, so not in a demo. And it sounds really, really good. Of course, a DJ would probably do it even better and probably with a bit more panache.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
like, it's cool. Like, I totally want to
Yeah.
enable that for background music while I'm cleaning the apartment.
I mean, that appeals actually. Like I was going to say when you said crossfading, I was like, didn't we used to have that on iTunes and then it kind of disappeared? And this sounds better. This sounds like it's that plus. Um, I will probably try it, and if it's good, then that actually gives me something I will use for just noodling about with my visual stuff. Because sometimes I don't just want a playlist; I want a DJ mix. So it'll let me have a bit of a mix without having to bother too much myself. Yeah, that could be fun.
So yeah, I think
Didn't see
that's
that one
something
coming.
I'm looking forward to. All right. Other than that, my final thought is Apple is doing the whole liquid glass thing to prepare us for AR everywhere, like AR glasses, and also like, have you seen the Expanse? They
Maybe.
all have like glass phones, so the whole like phone is translucent. Like that's
Yeah,
probably not exactly their vision of the future, but like somewhere in there is their vision of the future. I mean, like, let's see if they reach it or whatever. But I feel like that
yeah,
is one of the reasons for this redesign. Like, okay, all the platforms should like look kind of related to each other, but that's more than that. Like, it feels like everything is translucent. That
yeah.
feels like a preparation step.
I think you're probably right, but I'm not sure I see yet what it's preparing for. I think that is probably perhaps because Apple doesn't fully have that vision, if you like, sorted themselves, pardon the pun. And I say that because I sort of see what's happened with Vision OS, and the Vision Pro is that it sort of went through that hype phase, then it kind of seemed to die a bit of a death. And I think obviously it's still a thing that exists, right? And there are people that are using it. But the version of that that then becomes the everything device or the one everybody wants in one way or another doesn't seem fully clear. But obviously that's something they'll be thinking about. And there may even be other ways that some of this redesign ties into other products as well. Like you said, that vision of clear phones and the rest of it. I think that'd be quite a way away. But I don't hate it. I think this gives them options and it gives more options to play with different hardware and different experiences. So if it's a preparatory step for that, then bring it on,
I mean, you got
really.
to feel for Apple. Like for
Yeah.
literally 6, 7 years, they've prepared for AR. Like all the AR stuff in the phones, all the like move away from skeuomorphism, all the,
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, we have new AR kit stuff. Oh, and can like look at things through your
Yeah.
phone. Like, and that was all in preparation for the Vision Pro, the device that kind of came out and would change the world. No one really wants it. Like I'm saying no one, but yeah. Jihad, put down your keyboard. Like you're not the target audience here. No, but like I kind of feel bad for them. And obviously this is not the end of the road, but now like
No.
suddenly everyone has kind of like is not looking at AR anymore like so much. Like people are still
Yeah.
looking at VR, but like AR like was kind of low key the future, and now the future is low key AI. So like
Yeah.
I'm wondering, does that change things, or will just will like just AR appear? Because when I used the Vision Pro, I was thinking like if my glasses could just like do that, if like I could just like display a window over there in the other end of the room with my regular glasses, that would be kind of awesome. But we
Yeah.
seem to be quite a while away from that.
We do. And at one point, I was like, yeah, this is what I really want. I sort of had all these ideas for stuff that I would love to do with glasses if they were in that way. And, I talked about it on previous episodes of this podcast
Mm.
way back. I really wanted it. But what they actually brought out last year was not an everybody device. And it was probably, a few years away from something like that. And so it was disappointing in a lot of ways. I wanted an iPhone moment. I wanted oh yeah, there's this thing and loads of people are going to get it and it opens up this big space. And the Vision Pro's not been that. So my enthusiasm is like not there because of that. So if we're going to go there and there is an everybody device or some sort of progression of this, I just really hope they nail it. More than anything else, I want all of that enthusiasm I had back. Yeah, I mean, even just having something that was just my glasses, but then I didn't need a screen in front of me, for example. Like I could actually do away with the monitor on my desk, and it was so good that, that's just that. Like that would be good for me. I don't necessarily need it to be something that is full on all the time. But yeah, I hope they do it. And if glass is a preparatory step, then great. If it opens up other device classes and hardware, then I think that's great. And I don't hate it. I quite like. I think you're right on macOS. Glass might look a bit Vista Fisher pricey here and there, but that's something I think they'll probably dial in as well. So, dude, I really want you to install it on that SSD and then report back. And I know you're going to do it at some point. I know you are. So when you do, let's
I
talk
will
about
I
it.
will at some point, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
then
then
we
maybe
can
I will too.
record live from Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, maybe I should take my own push here and find an extra drive and do it myself as well.
Yeah. That, like I have like, don't you have it? Like this is my macOS beta SSD. Like that's like it comes out once a
No,
year, and then it just
no,
lives in the drawer the rest of
no, I do not, but maybe I should.
yeah. But the problem is just like because like when I use my computer for actual work, like just I have a lot of specialty tools installed. Like I have like I don't know like
Hmm.
programming environments and everything, and so like a bare installation of macOS is just not very like
A lot of
fun to
work, right?
be like. And
Yeah,
I'm a defaults person. Like I like using the default stuff as much as possible because it just removes decisions. So I use the regular mail app. I use I don't know
yeah,
iMessage, but like even those need to be set up.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I've got my favorite things. Obviously, the WeChat using Signal, so I'll have to put that on because that's kind of my default these days. But
and then it
and
will be
then
buggy and the programming stuff will go. I don't know. Like I might just install it on the SSD just for noodling around. If it runs Chrome, then I can like join the podcast from there and see how that goes. But yeah, let's see.
yep, yeah. Let's see, and maybe I'll join you because I'll get curious as well. So, but on that note, Daniel. read us out. I think we're at the end of the line.
Yes, otherwise this won't be a tiny episode. It won't be a big one. So, thanks for listening. Please rate us on iTunes and YouTube. Send us emails at contact@waitingforreview.com and join our Discord. The link is in the show notes. Dave, where can people find you?
You can find me over on Instagram. My account there is lightbeamapps. Yeah, and then maybe a bit more detail. You can also check out my apps just at lightbeamapps.com. That's what I have the
Fantastic.
Instagram title.
All right. Send me fun little messages on Mastodon at daniel@social.telemetrydeck.com. And I still haven't changed my Blue Sky username to anything readable, so I will do that at some point. Your chore, which you forgot at the beginning, but like your chore until next week, is install the beta somewhere. Send a screenshot.
I think you've given that one back to me. Uno reverse.
No, it's not your chore, it's the listener's chore.
Okay.
I want to see
Well,
I see lots of cool
anyway.
beta screenshots.
All right. Well, let's see. And on that note, Daniel, great talking to you. Take care, mate.
Pleasure was all mine. All right. See you next week.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye.